In the previous video, we used the print function for hello world. We're going to talk a little bit more about that function as well as the input function. And we're going to use the two together. So I'm going to do this in text edit, and I'm going to end up calling my script through the terminal. So in the previous video, we wrote out hello world. So in Python 3, this is the print function. We've got a couple things here. We have the function itself, which is print, and then the two parentheses. And then inside of those parentheses, we have a string, which had the words hello world. A string is just a series of characters. If you put in the number 23, as far as the computer is concerned, that's not a number. That is just the symbol of a 2 and the symbol of a 3 next to each other in that order. They're not a number there. If we delete the quotes, then we have a number. But with the quotes on it, it's just a string of characters. These are inside of the parentheses, so these are the argument that is being passed through this function. We'll get into what some of this terminology means a little bit more later, but you're going to hear me use some of it as we go through stuff. So a lot of our focus in this is going to be on cryptography concepts, classical cryptography methods, password security, stuff like that. The first thing that I think I want to print is cryptography. I could put in another print function, like the study of secret writing, and I can run this if I want. So I'll save it. Maybe I call it intro.py. And if I launch terminal, let's see what happens. Make this a bit larger. So cd desktop to go to my desktop, since that's where the file is located. Python 3, so that way it knows what to run it in. And then the file name, intro.py. So there we go. It printed exactly what I told it to, and it did it rather fast. Now there are two main styles of classical cryptography. We have substitution, and that is where individual letters or groups of letters are replaced by other letters, numbers, or special characters. And then we have transpositional. And that's where position of the letters is changed. So both of them can make the message hard to read, and of course you also have methods that use both. And there are a few methods that don't fit into either category. There is another category too, but these are the two main ones. Now if I save this Command S and I rerun it, cd desktop, Python 3, intro.py. Alright, it did it all really fast, and maybe I don't want that. Maybe I want it to go a little bit slower so that way someone actually has time to read, and there's not a whole bunch of stuff thrown at them all at once. I also might want some, like, space in there, because it's just throwing it all together, there's no separation. So, first, separation is easy. I can actually tell it to print some empty strings, and that will separate things out. So if I save it and I run it again, you can type clear if you want to get rid of the previous information. I can press up on my keyboard to get to previous commands to make it faster. And there we go. So that's a bit better. I think I want a gap afterwards too before this next prompt. So I'll add in one more print command of an empty string. Now, I don't like how it does it all at once, so I want there to be a delay. So what I can also do is I can use the input function. Now, this is not the intent of the input function, but this is a creative way that it is commonly used. So we basically just type in input, and what it will do is the program will stop and it will wait for the user to type something in and then press enter. But we don't have to make them type anything in. We can just wait for them to press enter. So if I save this and rerun it in my terminal, let's clear. It's waiting. It's not going to do anything until I press enter. Now I can type, and as soon as I press enter, it's going to run the next part. Now what I typed didn't matter there because we didn't tell Python to do anything with that data. We can tell it to store it, and we will in an upcoming video. But this is a nice way of kind of creating pauses and breaks when you're wanting to present information. Now, instead of leaving this input function blank, I could give the user a clue. I could say, press enter to continue. And now if I run this again, there we go. Press enter to continue. So when I press enter, now it shows the rest. Maybe I want that to separate out these as well. You know what? I forgot to mention, I told you guys that there were two main categories of classical cryptography, but I forgot to tell the user, so let's fix that. Alright, so we can clear and we can run it again. And there you go. So now we have a really basic program that provides information to the user in smaller chunks, which is a bit better for the user. You don't want all this crazy stuff just being tossed to the screen. You want to break it up into more manageable chunks. And you know what? I think I want one more input command. I think I just want it at the end, so that way it doesn't surprise them when the program ends. Press enter to end program. So command S, clear, run it again, press enter to continue. Two main categories, press enter to continue. What's substitution, press enter to continue. What's transpositional, press enter to end the program. Now there's a lot of much better stuff that we can do, but you know, this is only the second little video where we've used Python, and the first one you might not want to even count it because it was just hello world. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll talk a little bit more about input and what we can do with it, and how we can store that data to actually use within our program.